The studio smells like dust and rain, the kind of smell that seeps into the walls after too many years of silence. I unlock the door, and it opens with a reluctant groan, as if the place itself had been waiting for me to return. The sign above the glass booth still reads WZPR, the voice of the night, though most of the letters have faded. My reflection in the fogged-up window looks like someone else, a ghost returning to haunt her own echo. It's my last broadcast. That's what I told myself on the drive here, while the rain smeared the world outside into gray ribbons. One final night behind the mic. One more good evening, listeners, for whoever still cares to hear it. Inside, the old equipment hums like a tired heart. The console lights flicker uncertainly, a weak pulse in the dark. I run my fingers across the dials, brushing off a thin layer of dust, and the speakers hiss to life. The rain outside intensifies, tapping against the windows in uneven rhythm. The clock above the doorway shows 11:57 p.m., almost midnight. Perfect timing. I sit down, put on the headset, and the world narrows to a circle of dim light and static. My voice wavers a little as I start. Good evening, night owls. This is Evelyn Cross, coming to you live from WZPR for one last broadcast. If you're out there driving through the rain, if you can still pick up this frequency, stay with me tonight. My words drift through the room, carried by the soft hiss of interference. It feels both comforting and unbearably lonely. I take a breath, glance toward the empty chairs in the control booth. No producer, no engineer, just me. Like the first night I ever went on air, years ago, except now the silence between each word feels heavier. I turn up the gain, letting the static fill the quiet. 3K aya erte en aya, that's when I hear it. A faint whisper beneath the noise. At first, I think it's feedback, an echo of my own voice looping back through the system. But then it comes again, softer, slower. Evelyn, I freeze. The name sounds like a sigh pressed against glass. The line hisses, then falls silent. I pull off the headset and stare at it, my heartbeat hammering in my ears. Outside, thunder rolls across the hills, shaking the window panes. I tell myself it's just interference, an old circuit catching ghost frequencies. Still, when I put the headset back on, I can't help listening harder this time. The red ON air light glows steady. The rain keeps falling. And through the faint whisper of static, I could swear someone is still breathing on the line. The phone line blinks once, then again. For a second, I think it's a malfunction. This station has been dead for months, after all. But the light keeps flashing, steady and insistent. I glance at the clock. 12:09 am. No one should even have the number anymore. My hand hesitates over the switch. Well, I whisper to no one, guess we've still got an audience. The line clicks when I answer, a burst of static spilling into my headset. You're on the air, I say, trying to sound calm. This is Evelyn Cross. Who's calling? Silence. Then a faint rustle, followed by breathing. Slow, uneven, as though the person on the other end is speaking from a long way off. I listen to you, the voice rasps, low and gravelly. Every night. The tone is wrong, too flat, too sure, my throat tightens. That's hard to believe, I say carefully. We haven't been on air for 3 months, the caller finishes for me. I know. Something inside me stirs, confusion, unease. My hand grips the mic stand. If you know that, then how? You promised, he interrupts. You said you'd stay until I called. You said you'd wait. The words are soft, almost tender, but the way he says wait makes my skin crawl. I search my memory for the voice, the deep rasp, the calm certainty, but there's nothing. Sir, I think you have the wrong. The sound cuts through me, a harsh, low hum swelling until it fills the headset like a storm surge. I yank the volume knob down, but it's no use. The interference grows louder, warping, bending the edges of every sound. And under it, just barely, I hear it again, my name. Evelyn! The light on the console flickers wildly. The call drops. I sit in stunned silence, the rain hammering against the glass behind me. My pulse refuses to slow. I glance at the call log, a blank screen. No number, no record, no trace. Maybe it's someone playing a cruel joke, I tell myself. Maybe one of the old technicians, bored, found a way to patch into the line. But that doesn't explain how he knew about the promise. Because I had said something like that once. Late one night, years ago, when the station was barely surviving, I'd ended a show with a joke. I'll keep talking until someone calls to tell me to stop. But that was live, spontaneous, nothing written down, nothing saved. I stand pacing between the console and the dusty wall of records. The red ON air light throws long shadows across the floor. Then, faintly, the monitor hums again. Another signal. Another call. I shouldn't answer. I know I shouldn't. But the silence pressing in feels worse than the fear. WZPR, I whisper. You're on the air. No response. Just static. Then, the same voice, lower this time, like it's sinking into the noise. You promised you'd wait for me. The hum spikes. A thick, vibrating tone that rattles the mic stand. I reach for the cutoff switch, but before I can touch it, the voice says one last thing, quiet and clear, as if spoken from just behind me. You said you'd wait until I came back. The sound collapses into a deafening roar. Lights flicker. The console sparks. The headset crackles, burning my ear. I tear it off and stumble back. When it's over, the room is silent again, the kind of silence that feels aware. I look around. Nothing moves, but the reflection in the booth window, my own reflection, lags half a second behind. And the red ON air light, though I know I shut it off, is glowing brighter than ever. The rain hasn't stopped. It's heavier now, like the whole sky is pressing down on the roof. The sound fills every corner of the studio, a restless, muffled roar that matches the static still humming faintly in my headset. I check the call log again, nothing. No number, no trace. The board shows a clean slate as if no one ever spoke. But the faint warmth on the earpads tells me the call was real. I heard him. I open the system monitor, no signal received, no outgoing transmission. A dead channel. And yet the air feels charged, alive. I lower my voice, almost whispering into the mic. If anyone's still listening, that last call wasn't part of the show. I pause, fingers trembling slightly above the console. If you heard it too, let me know. The silence that follows is absolute. I start to lean back when a faint tone cuts through the static, 3 short beeps, like a heartbeat skipping time. Then the second call lights up. I hesitate only a second before picking up. You're on the air, I say softly. This time it's a woman. Her voice sounds clearer, closer, almost inside the room. The road was slippery, she whispers, and behind her I hear the faint crying of a child. But now it's quiet, he's not crying anymore. My chest tightens. I'm sorry, could you repeat that? The woman breathes shakily. The headlights went out, I couldn't see, but now it's all right. Everything's quiet. The words hit me like ice. That line, those exact words, I've heard them before. I'd heard them over the phone years ago, moments before a car veered off the interstate. My son was in that car. I grip the mic with both hands, forcing my voice steady. Who is this? Static crackles in response. The child's sobs fade. The woman's breathing slows until it's gone completely, replaced by a low hum that vibrates through the walls. Hello, my voice breaks. Can you hear me? Nothing. Only the same slow, rhythmic static, rising and falling like the ocean. I glance toward the window, a shadow shifts behind the fogged glass. For a heartbeat, I think someone's standing outside in the rain, but when I look again, it's gone. The studio feels smaller now, the air too still. I check the console again. No signal logged, no audio trace. The phone line reads inactive. Impossible, I whisper. A sudden pop bursts from the speakers, followed by a faint echo, my own voice, delayed, distorted, whispering words I haven't said yet. Stay on the line, please. My breath catches. I hadn't said that. Not this time. But I hear it clearly, echoing back through the static, softer with each repetition. Then a sound, faint but unmistakable, a child's laugh. It's brief, just 2 notes of joy swallowed by noise, but I know it instantly. I know it in my bones. Michael! The mic flickers as I speak his name, the red light above it pulsing once, twice. The static deepens, wrapping around my words like a shroud. The speakers buzz, then silence again. I sit there, frozen. My reflection in the dark glass looks pale, hollow. Somewhere deep in the machinery, a soft hum begins to rise, like the building itself is breathing with me. And just before the hour changes to 1 o'clock, a faint whisper slides through the static. Not my name this time, but something colder, more deliberate. They hear you now. Then everything cuts, the lights, the signal, even the rain. For the first time all night, there's nothing but silence. When the power surges back, every light in the studio flares white for an instant before dimming to a sickly yellow glow. The clock above the door has stopped at 1 o'clock a.m. exactly. I sit there, headset still in my lap, trying to breathe. My hands are trembling so hard I can hear the faint clatter of my rings against the console. The studio smells like burnt wires and wet air. The silence stretches, broken only by the slow ticking of something behind the walls. Maybe a pipe, maybe not. Then, faintly, the microphone crackles. At first, it's just background noise, the kind of soft interference you learn to ignore after years on the air. But then words begin to form, indistinct, layered, overlapping. Can you hear us? Evelyn, stay with me. Don't turn it off, I freeze. The voices are mixed, familiar and foreign all at once, male, female, even a child's lilt among them. They blend into each other like a broken choir. I lean closer to the mic. Who's speaking? The static swells, then resolves into one clear voice, mine. I'm not alone here, it says, a perfect echo of what I'd said 15 minutes ago. I jerk back, heart pounding. I replay the last few minutes in my mind. I had said those exact words, but no one should have them. The broadcast was dead, disconnected. The next voice belongs to someone else entirely. A man this time, warm, patient. You told me once that the night makes people honest, he says. You said that on your 3rd show. Remember. It takes me a moment to recognize the quote, a line from years ago, when I still believed radio could reach people who needed saving. But hearing it now feels wrong, like someone rummaging through my memories. I turn toward the sound booth window. My reflection blurs in the fogged glass, but there are 2 silhouettes behind the glass, not one. One moves when I do. The other doesn't. The phone rings again. The tone is distorted, warbling as if underwater. I pick up the receiver with shaking hands. WZPR, you're on the air. A pause, then softly. We never stopped listening. My throat tightens. Who is this? Everyone, the voice says, and laughter filters through, not mocking, but sorrowful. You kept us company, night after night. You said the static would hold our stories. I don't understand. Yes, you do, the voice murmurs. You built the bridge yourself. The line drops with a sharp click. I look around, desperate for logic, a short circuit, a feedback loop, anything to explain what's happening. But instead, the monitors flicker to life one by one, each displaying old timestamps, dates from broadcasts years ago. I see my face, younger, smiling faintly as I read letters on air. And then, over my own recorded laughter, another voice overlays mine, calm, certain, repeating a line I haven't said yet. It's not just a transmission, it's a threshold. The screen cuts to static. I rip off the headset and press my palms against my eyes. My mind races through memories. Every night I spoke into the void. Every listener I imagined sitting in the dark. Every time I said you're not alone out there. What if they weren't? The hum returns, deeper now, vibrating the floor beneath my feet. I can feel it through the soles of my shoes, resonating with my heartbeat. The mic light flickers again, though I haven't touched the controls. I lean in just once more, whispering into the emptiness. If you're still out there, tell me what you want. The reply comes immediately, 100 voices whispering in perfect unison. Stay on the air. The rain outside resumes, harder than before, like applause against the glass. And for the first time, I realize the storm isn't coming from outside. It's coming through the frequency. The hum doesn't stop. It's deep, endless, a sound that seems to pulse through my bones rather than through the speakers. The ON air sign burns red above me, brighter than ever, its reflection cutting through the fogged glass like a wound in the dark. I don't remember turning the mic back on. I don't remember anything after the last whisper. But the signals live again. I can feel it. The console's meters twitch on their own, responding to a voice I can't hear. I lean in, my breath shallow. Is anyone there? A pause, then a voice. You know why I'm calling. It's a man's voice this time, steady, patient. Not the rasp of the first caller, not the chorus from before. There's something quiet in it, something I almost recognize. I swallow hard. I don't think I do. Yes, you do. He sounds closer now, as if the words are forming somewhere just behind the mic. I can hear the faint hum of breath between syllables. Who are you? You told me to find you if it ever went silent. My throat tightens. That's not. You said you'd stay on the air, he continues, calm, certain. You said you'd wait until I came back. The same words, the exact ones the first caller spoke. My pulse stutters. I don't know who you think I am. You know me. Something inside me cracks open. I do know that tone, not from the station, not from the listeners, but from home. From quiet mornings that used to smell like coffee and rain. David, I whisper. The silence that follows is almost a confirmation. When he speaks again, his voice softens, almost tender. You kept talking after I left. You filled the silence with strangers. You thought if the air never went quiet, you'd never have to hear the truth. I can't move. You're not real, I say. You can't be. But you called me, he replies gently. You brought me back. That's what you do, Evelyn. You speak things into being. The red light above the mic flickers. My reflection in the window warps two shadows instead of one. Why now? I whisper. Because you're ready, he says. You've been waiting for this night. You've been rehearsing your confession every time you went on air. I have nothing to confess. You do. His voice is quiet, but it cuts straight through me. You remember that night. The storm, the argument. You told me to drive. You said you needed silence to think. I close my eyes. The memory hits me like glass breaking, headlights cutting through rain, my voice rising, his fading in the distance. Then a phone call, static, a crash. No, I breathe, you're not him. But his next words destroy the lie. I never blamed you, you just never forgave yourself. The studio hums louder, the air vibrating with every heartbeat. The dials spin wildly, needles slamming against their limits. Don't turn it off, he says softly. Not yet. I grip the mic, my knuckles white. What happens if I do? Then you fade with the silence. The line distorts, his voice splintering into echoes, overlapping, multiplying, all whispering the same phrase. Don't stop the broadcast. The noise rises until it's almost unbearable. The monitors flash with fragmented images, my face in old broadcasts, my voice looping, my son's laughter echoing beneath. Through the chaos, I hear his voice again, barely audible, but clearer than everything else. As long as the signal's alive, you are too. The words hang in the air like a verdict. I reach for the power switch, then stop. My hand trembles above it, suspended. The static hisses in the headset like breathing, waiting. David, I whisper. Are you still out there? The hum lowers like the sound of someone exhaling. And then, softly, the answer. Always. But only while you keep talking. The mic light burns brighter, steady and unwavering. And I realize the broadcast isn't keeping them alive. It's keeping me. The hum has grown into something physical, a vibration that trembles through the floorboards, the chair, my chest. The whole building feels alive, trembling with a pulse I can't separate from my own heartbeat. The air smells like rain and ozone. Every light flickers in rhythm. Every shadow moves just a fraction too slowly to be natural. The meters on the console spin without pattern, the needles dancing like compass arrows caught in a storm. I should leave. I should pull the main breaker, grab my coat, walk into the downpour, and never look back. But I can't. The red ON air light burns with an almost organic glow, as if it's feeding off something or someone. "David," I whisper again, my voice shaking. "If you're still there, I need you to tell me what this is." The static parts like a curtain, and through it dozens of overlapping voices, whispers, sighs, fragments of words I recognize. Snippets from my own broadcasts, pleas from the callers, the soft laughter of my son, all folding into one unholy chorus. "Evelyn," the sound floods the headset, layered and endless. Every syllable vibrates behind my eyes. I can't tell where my thoughts end and the voices begin. I turn the gain down, nothing changes. I pull the volume knob free from its base, still they speak. They're not coming from the radio. They're coming from me. A sudden burst of static slashes through the air, sharp as lightning. The monitors flare white, and then I see it. Not a reflection this time. Dozens of faces, pale and blurred, flickering across the screens, the listeners, the ones who called over the years. All of them watching, their lips moving in sync, whispering the same phrase. "You open the door." I stumble back, nearly tripping over the mic cable. My breath fogs in the cold air. "No," I whisper. "I was just talking, that's all I ever did." The air responds with laughter hollow, echoing from every speaker, every wire, every inch of the studio. Then the sound splits, fracturing into individual voices again. Some cry, some pray, some call my name like they need saving, and beneath them all, David's voice, low and patient. "This isn't the broadcast," he says. "It's the return signal." The floor vibrates harder. The ON air sign flickers, then steadies, its red light turning almost crimson. The old vinyl records on the shelves start to shake. Some fall, shattering on the floor, the fragments reflecting flashes of faces, eyes, mouths that move without sound. I grip the desk, forcing myself to stay upright. "You said if the signal dies, I die too. So what happens if I stay?" "Then you remember," he says. "All of it." The lights flare again, and in that instant I do remember not just David's crash, not just Michael's last laugh, but every time I used this microphone to bury the silence, to hide the truth. Every night I kept the signal alive so I wouldn't have to hear the moment the line went dead. I hear Michael's voice now, soft and distant. "Mom!" It's him, his real voice. "Michael!" I cry out, leaning toward the mic. "I'm here." But the words twist in the air, replaying a beat later, distorted, my own voice mimicking his. "Mom." The storm outside breaks open, lightning flashing through the window. The air shudders. The sound becomes unbearable, hundreds of voices all screaming through the same narrow channel. They're not trying to scare me. They're trying to reach me. I cover my ears, but it doesn't help. Their words are inside my head now, inside every pulse of the frequency. "This isn't the air," one voice hisses. "It's what comes after." "This isn't the signal," says another. "It's what you left behind." And then, through the roar, one final whisper rises, calm, certain, echoing from nowhere and everywhere at once. "This is the reverse call." The power surges. Every screen flashes white. The glass in the control booth fractures outward, spiderweb cracks forming across the window. And in the reflection of that shattered glass, I see myself, or what's left of me, still seated at the mic, lips moving, eyes open, as the storm consumes the signal. The last thing I hear before the feed collapses is my own voice, quiet, hollow, reaching for something that's already gone. "Stay with me." Then silence. The storm has faded into a low, distant rumble. The air feels hollow, too still, as if the world itself is holding its breath. Every surface in the studio glistens faintly, coated in a thin mist that shouldn't be there. I sit at the console, drenched in silence. The ON air sign glows steady, its red reflection painting my hands in light. The hum is gone. The voices are gone. Only the faint ticking of the old clock remains, though I'm certain it stopped hours ago. For the first time all night, I hear only my heartbeat. Slow, measured. I reach toward the microphone, my hand hesitates. The metal feels warm, almost alive beneath my fingertips. "This is Evelyn Cross," I whisper, my voice breaking slightly. "Signing off." The words hang in the air, heavier than I expected. Somewhere deep in the circuitry, something clicks, a soft, final sound, like a breath being drawn in. The red light flickers once. And then, from the static that shouldn't exist anymore, my own voice answers, faint but unmistakable. "Good evening, you're on the air." I freeze. The voice isn't live, it's me, but not me. It carries a calm I no longer recognize, a tone from another time, another version of myself that still believes the world is listening. The monitors flicker to life one last time. The screen shows the empty booth, the vacant chair, the still microphone. I'm watching the studio, but I'm not in the frame. A strange peace settles over me. I understand now. The station never broadcast to anyone. It was a receiver. And tonight, it received me. The hum rises again, softer this time, almost gentle. It feels like the sound of a heartbeat continuing somewhere I can't follow. I reach forward, wrap my fingers around the switch, and press it down. The on air light fades, not instantly, but slowly, as though reluctant to let go. Darkness. For a heartbeat, there's nothing. Then, through the dead air, my voice echoes once more, distant, fragile, yet clear. "Good night, dear listeners. Stay safe out there." The rain starts again, and in the empty studio, the on air light flickers back to life.